This is Martin Johnson from Washington. Today I'm here with the shocking and heartbreaking real story of my life. I want all of you people to subscribe to this YouTube channel for more interesting real couple stories. Well, I got married to Sue last year. Our married life was really so romantic and exciting. In the beginning at that time, she was working as a hour at a high school. Everything was going perfectly smooth. There used to be 4 people in our house. Me, my wife and my father and my mom. We were living a happy and a peaceful life. I remember Sue used to be a very responsible and caring wife, like she was indeed very concerned about the domestic chores as well. I remember how wisely she used to manage both work and home chores. We used to have a lot of love and romance, like she used to arrange some different and interesting things in the bed for me. Mainly at the weekends, our physical relationship was just so perfect. It seemed like life was good. Indeed perfect. But everything changed. On the arrival of my brother named Tom. Tom was 4 years younger than me. He moved to our house as his wife ditched him and left him with a baby boy who was just 1 month old. He wanted us to take care of his baby. Simply, he just wanted to have a family. One day I noticed something really strange. It was about 1 a.m. of the night. I was just sleeping peacefully when I randomly woke up because of the horrid dream. When I woke up, I realized that my wife was on the bed. I obviously did not consider it a lot and slept again. After drinking the water, I was thinking that she might be at the washroom. Well, I then randomly woke up again at about 2 a.m. and was shocked to see my wife was not still at the bed or at the room. I stood up from the bed and went out the room in order to check out my wife. I was finding her. Meanwhile, I caught on my wife's shoes outside of my brother's room. At first, I thought that it was my illusion because there was obviously no mean of my wife's presence in his room. At the dark hour of night, I went close to the room and realized that someone was moaning inside. I was damn sure that this was my wife's voice. I began to knock the door but no one opened. And after about 20 minutes, I remember when he opened the door, he seemed really angry. He began to crawl with me and begin to give me more lectures that I shouldn't do, like knocking harshly. At this hour of night, I was in the mood of argument. So instead of replying to my brother, I began to move inside of his room forcefully without his permission. I remember there was my wife's perfume fragment inside the room, but I did not find her. When I went to my room, I was shocked to see my wife sleeping peacefully. I did not understand what was actually going on. Even the next day when I was at my working place, I was literally continuously thinking about what had happened. Last night, I discussed everything with my sincere and wise friend who asked me to keep my eyes on my wife. But at that time, I was so crazy in sus love and used to trust her a lot that I literally began to quarrel with my coworker that he should not talk about my life like this. To be honest, I had never thought anything negative about my wife and my brother, even on seeing them together several times. I must say that my brother was indeed very man, but he wasn't handsome or fit enough to be attracted to my wife. So I was just relaxed because I was aware of my wife's choice whenever I used to see them together. I always used to think that maybe my wife was taking care of my brother's young son or showing affection to that baby. One day, something really unexpected happened. It was about 7 p.m. in the morning when I woke up and found my wife nowhere in the bed. I thought that she might be making breakfast for me. So I ignored and went to the washroom to take a cold shower. When coming back from the washroom, I caught sight of my wife who was doing something really strange. Like I remember my wife was hiding something silently and steadily under the bed. That time, I could see how confused she was. As soon as she found me standing on the other side of bed, she stood up and began to sweating. At first she started saying to me, "Good morning, baby, blah, blah." And then, without asking me, she began to give me an explanation that she was actually finding her butterfly earrings under the bed. I knew that my wife always used to wear over her butterfly earrings every night and always used to put them on the side table of our bed. I remember my wife showed her fake happiness by not finding the earrings as usual on the side table. I was damn sure that she has hidden something under the bed because I was coming from the washroom. I remember she was having something of red net with a golden bow on it. My wife was so engrossed in her cunning conversation that I obviously forgot it. Once my parents went to my own house to spend their holidays, I was in my workplace when I came to know from management that I could take off for the next 2 days from my workplace. Well, I was extremely happy that time because I really wanted to spend quality time with my wife on reaching the house. I was shocked to see my elder brother cars parked outside of the house at that time. He usually came to our house at about 11 or 12 a.m. at night. I did not understand the purpose of his presence in our house. At this time, I knew that my wife was definitely in the house because she mainly used to get off at around 4 or 5 p.m. When I entered the house, all lights were off. Like if everyone was sleeping, even the windows were closed. I went to my bedroom and did not find my wife. I started calling her on her cell phone and heard the ringing sound of my wife's phone coming from my brother's room. I went to my brother's room in order to meet my wife. When I was shocked to realize that the room was locked, I obviously got furious and then began to knock the door harshly. They opened after about 10 minutes. I remember my wife was literally like a fish out of water. At that time, I asked with my hand gestures what they both were doing inside a locked room. My wife was just about to say something when my brother stopped her and replied to me that they both were changing the baby's pamper. I remember my wife then further said that they did not want the smell to go outside. So they did like this. I was just looking at them with great amazement. Like seriously, I even did not find the room smelly. It felt as if they were chanting the baby's pamper as the baby was sleeping peacefully. Things were literally getting worse day by day. My wife became so rude and harsh with me. Like she started spending most of her time in the baby's room. I had never said anything to her about this, but I myself wanted her to show affection to that motherless baby, but my wife should not ignore me. Like this one day I saw something that will definitely shook you. I remember it was about 8 of the night. I had to go to my coworker's wedding when I got my shoes, not in the cupboard. I found them everywhere. I did not find them. My brother was at his office that time. So I thought about asking his shoes from his room. When I went to my brother's room, I did not find the shoes in the cupboard. I then looked under the bed where I was literally shocked to see a lingerie which was of black color under the bed that Ling was having the same net design and that bow which I had once saw my wife hiding under our bed. I furiously picked up that lingerie and went to my bedroom. I remember my wife was standing in front of the mirror and was brushing her hair. As soon as she found me at back of her, she literally began to shiver and then asked me about my angriness. I went close to my wife, looked into her eyes deeply and asked, "What is this?" While sharing the lingerie? At first, I remained quiet and then replied that it's angry. She then further said that she don't know anything more about this. My wife was not ready to confess that it was her lay the same night. I remember how my wife trapped me by wearing alluring and attractive lang to seduce me. Obviously, I got high that time. But when she wore off her clothes, she was shocked to see fresh love bites wounds on my wife's neck. I remember without my asking, my wife began to give me an explanation that wounds. When she found me gazing at her neck, she said that the baby had just bitten her like this. I remember she began to put an ointment on that wound. I did not understand how a 4-month baby could do this to her. I was literally the fool person who always used to trust her like this. My wife's activities were getting more and more strange day by day. Like one day, I was literally shocked to see my wife in an erotic video call. Like that time she was showing off her naked body. As soon as she found me behind her, she began to veil herself when I asked her why she was doing this. I remember how my wife trapped me in her sweet words. Like she was making the video to make me high blah, blah. She used to have answers to all questions. She was indeed a clever bitch. Even she made me fool again by saying that she was pregnant. I remember after hearing about the baby in her womb, there was indeed no place of my happiness. I remember how I planned a baby shower. I used to take care of her a lot. But one day I was shocked to hear my wife's phone conversation with someone to whom she was begging to meet in the hotel. The way my wife was calling on the phone made it crystal clear that she was with the guy. That time after hearing my wife's conversation, I just wanted to kill her at the moment. Well, I took some patience and courage and decided to chase her. I was obviously damn sure that she was going to meet my brother, as well as all red flags are showing that my wife was dating my brother. Well, I took my phone as well in order to record the video. But when I saw that person in the hotel to whom my wife was dating, I was just shocked. It was my wife's cousin to whom my wife was asking to accept his baby. My feet froze after knowing the fact that it was not my baby. I appeared in front of them. I remember how badly my wife was crying and begging for forgiveness. She said that it was a mistake. She further said that she never intended to have a physical relationship with him. She said that once she slept with him when it was his birthday party and then everything happened. I just hate her and decided to divorce her. But she created a lot of dramas. Like I remember she even tried to attempt the suicide on my parents' request. I decided to accept her apology. I remember how she made sure that she wouldn't do such anything again. She further said that she was ready to abort the baby, but I was not that much harsh. So I did not allow her to do like this. Obviously, we did not get the same relationship back again after my wife's cheating. But I was trying my best to reconcile with her and to improve our relationship. But that bitch cheated me again. It is true that once a liar is always a liar. I remember it was about 3 a.m. that night when I woke up and found my wife nowhere in the bedroom. I started finding her and finally, I realized that she was at my brother's room as I could hear the moaning and found her shoes outside of my brother's room. Well, instead of creating panic, I decided to give her a lesson of a lifetime. But I was sad about the fact that my own brother was cheating on me. The next morning, when I was just about to go off to my office, my brother told me something that will blow up your mind. He told me that my wife had tried on him for the times. He further confessed that he had given money to my wife several times. He told me everything that happened last night between them. I remember my brother was crying with regret from last night. He gave a super idea. Instead of saying anything to her, I decided to make her jealous by ignoring her both emotionally and physically. Moreover, I made a girlfriend named Lily who is from my workplace. I started inviting my girlfriend to my house twice a week for a sleepover to make her jealous in the game of making my wife jealous. I am in true love with Lily and we've decided to get married in the coming month. I literally stopped looking for Zoo, who once used to be my universe. Furthermore, I am just waiting for my Vice delivery. As soon as she delivers her baby, I'll divorce her and get her out of my life. LA. She is now burning with jealousy and regret every day. I hate you, Zoo.